Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and valued participants. My name is Sukanya, and I am part of Global IndiaAI Summit team at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. It's my honor to welcome you for our session on AI competency framework for the public sector. As we stand on the cusp of fourth industrial revolution, AI has emerged as a cornerstone of socio-economic and technological advancement. Its impact is pervasive, touching every sector, from healthcare to finance, entertainment to manufacturing. The need for being AI ready has never been more imperative. India recognizes this vast promise of AI in improving administrative efficiencies, ensuring equitable service access, and fostering positive citizen experiences. However, to realize this promise, we must have a clear understanding of foundational requirements for seamless AI integration. A strategic vision underpinned by ethical consideration is paramount. Internally, government officials must equip with necessary digital expertise and adaptability to navigate this dynamic landscape. Today, we draw insight from UNESCO's report on AI and digital transformation competencies for civil servants, which provides a valuable foundation. In addition, in order to build a comprehensive AI upskilling roadmap for public sector, we can also leverage from existing initiatives such as Capacity Building Commission and Karmayogi Bharat. So our session today aims to accomplish several key objectives. One is to identify specific AI competencies required by the public sector officials at various levels, and to develop a framework that is adaptable and provides an actionable guideline for future training and capacity building programs. I'm pleased to introduce our distinguished panelists who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to this discussion. I will also request them to kindly join me on dais. We would like to take a quick group photograph before proceeding with our session. Shri Surendranath Tripathi, Director General, Indian Institute of Public Administration. Mr. Rakesh Verma, Chief Operating Officer, Karmayogi Bharat. Shri Prakash Kumar, Chief Executive Officer, Vadhwani Center for Government and Digital Transformation. Mr. Hezekiel Dalamini, Advisor for Communication and Information for South Asia, UNESCO. Ms. Kirti Seth, Chief Executive Officer, NASSCOM, SSC NASSCOM. Dr. Srivyas, Project Director, Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka. I would request my panelists to come forward. We'll take a quick group picture. Thank you. Thank you so much. Without any further delay, it's now my pleasure to invite our keynote speaker, Shri Surendranath Tripathi, Director General, Indian Institute of Public Administration, to kindly share their insights on this critical topic.
Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon. So at least you are listening. Friends, India gave yoga to the world. Did we not? Now we gave DPI last year, Digital Public Infrastructure, and I'm sure Bharat AI is going to be the next big gift of India to the world. If you have to teach the whole world one thing, what you will teach? Any answer? You will say AI, somebody will say blockchain, but I will say don't quit. Quitters can't be winner and winners can't be quitters. AI-based nutrition tracking in Gadchiroli, Maharashtra by an IAS officer Shubham Gupta is a recent use case in point, but then why not others? He used AI to track the health of 223 children who were suffering from body mass index problem, and using AI, he was able to improve the health of all the children. So it is possible, and this is the best use case that I know of. Today I am supposed to talk about the BMI of bureaucracy. bureaucracy mass index, how we can make this BMI efficient, functional, AI compliant, and perhaps future ready. Most of you think that India is over bureaucratized. Yes or no? How many no's, how many yes? Anyway, I will not go for head count to expose you. But let me put it. India has 16 officers per 1,000 population, though we are a welfare state. A capitalist state, USA, has 36. A communist state, China, has 39. A developed state, Netherlands, has 137. They will certainly deliver better services, which are to be delivered by using human beings. This gives us an opportunity also, that if you have only a 10 for 1,000, and if you want to go up to Netherlands 137, there is no need for recruiting an additional 120. You can use artificial intelligence. I am a bureaucrat. We all know how artificial we were there in dealing with the facts and figures, and how virtual we were there in public connect. Literally keeping a safe distance, mostly managing with presence of mind or absence of body. But friends, AI gives us that tool that we can make the state succeed in delivering welfare at the doorstep of people. Me and Prakash belong to 85 batch of IAS. When I joined, the story was that every 100 rupee left that leaves Delhi, only 15 reaches Kalahandi or any other place. We knew the problem, but we never attempted solution. In 2017, we had the same problem, but we had a solution. There was an Aadhaar, there was Jan Dhan, all those things, and we are today transferring about 32 billion INR, sorry, $32 billion terms, Indian rupee, and with 100% efficiency. Earlier we thought that trickle down will work. Adhjal gagri chalkat jaye. Kuch na kuch to garibon ko milega. But that did not happen. We went to the waterfall approach. Today 100% goes to the people of India. Friends, technology is double-edged weapon, and AI is no such exception. I am one of those who believe I am aiming in political science, so I have very little concern with the science. But I know that in Indian Institute of Public Administration, where we serve as a think tank of the government, where we provide training to the serving bureaucrat, especially the mid-career bureaucrat, because it is easier to train the raw hands. When they join, they come with a lot of dreams. Within 10, 12 years, their dreams are shattered. They become worldly wise. Many become corrupt. Some go to jail. Some go for voluntary retirement. Some even join private sector. If we keep a track of all these lovely bureaucrats and create an ecosystem where performance matters, we can deliver development and become Viksit Bharat in one's lifetime. Friends, I will give only one statistics. It has nothing to do with AI, but very relevant for AI. India, since 1947 till 2023, has received 950 billion US dollar of FDI. 950 billion US dollars of FDI has come to India from 1947 till 2023. 632 billion has come in last 80 months. People are responding to the growth prospects of India. This 632 has come to about 26 states, so it is not Delhi centric. It has gone to 16 sectors, so it is not AI centric. It has gone to everywhere because India is now responding to the global challenge. Prakash is there. We make India as one market with GST. With Jam Trinity, we made everybody give a mobile phone. And today India is on the verge of the biggest market of any social media company in the world. If 3 billion emails are transacted in Google, I'm sure that at least 1 billion must be transacted by India alone. There is no need to talk about DPI because more than 12 billion transactions are happening every day, and there is nobody becoming rich by these transactions. So this is the power of technology, friends. Today we are discussing how artificial intelligence can be used to improve public policy on the one hand, improve the delivery of public policy, and also to ascertain whether the public policy is working in the field. India suffers from pilotitis, what we call it. There are a lot of pilots which are the graveyard of all these things. Not only public policy, but even technology also. Even AI is suffering from this pilotitis also. I am one of those who believe, and I quote you an economist study, who say that very little money is being made by AI companies even today. Though 400 billion US dollar has been committed by a magnificent seven. $2 trillion market capitalization has happened to all those companies which are using AI. That means whole tech world, whole knowledge economy is seeing lot of focus in AI. Friends, if this is the scenario, can bureaucracy be sitting aside and watching the fun without becoming a participant? You will be happy to know that 4 million bureaucrats belonging to Government of India and 52 million bureaucrats belonging to state and PSU. We are next to many countries which don't have that much of population. That's the size of bureaucracy. That's why I call it bureaucracy mass index can be handled by using artificial intelligence. We will discuss a lot of things because a very distinguished panel of experts have been arranged by the organizers. I must compliment them. I am a public policy analyst guy, so I will certainly say that making a public policy which is based on evidence-based data is today possible. Earlier we were saying that we will garibi hatao, we didn't know who is the garib. So how can you hatao? We say that we will nationalize bank to give everybody bank account. We nationalize the bank, but bank remain elitist. In 2014 we proved that people don't need bank, people need banking. People don't need bureaucrats, they need public service delivery. And today AI can, AI should, and together we can make it happen. Friends, in Karmayogi framework, which we will be discussing in detail, in IIP or mid-career bureaucrat, there is a mandate for everybody to understand what data analytics is all about, how data can be used for anything and everything. I am one of those who believe that more data does not make you wise, but otherwise you are fool. Better use the data, use your insight, and deliver development to the satisfaction of people of India. Today India is ready. We are growing at almost 8%. We are the darling of FDI. We have a single market. We are leading AI world. We are software capital of India. We are back office of the world. Most global research centers are functioning in India, and tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. In fact, there is no tireless city in India. 4,000 cities are competing for investment, and they are providing human capital to this great world. We can become human factory of the world, and we are prepared to do that. Bureaucracy has to learn the art of using artificial intelligence, art of using virtual reality, and how together we can enhance their confidence, enhance the confidence of people of India. Friends, Indians have delivered what is unthinkable anywhere in the world. Can anybody anywhere in the world count 640 million votes in one day? Can anybody in the world count 40 million people coming to the bank of river Ganga for Kumbh Snan? This is the total population of many countries who come to take bath in one river at one time. It looks crazy for the world, but we are used to this type of satisfaction. Friends, in mission mode, we are the best. We fail when it is peace all around. AI can disturb our peace and can make us very effective delivery of public service. We will share the content as and when it comes, but I do believe that behavioral, functional, and the domain expertise is needed in the bureaucrat. A driver need not know AI, but the transport secretary must know how to use AI. A driver of a vehicle must know how to drive the vehicle. He may not know the AI principles, but he is also a citizen who participates in development process. So each one, every citizen need to be exposed. To conclude, since time is very less, I will say only one thing. AI is one where people are afraid of to make it friend, and people are also afraid of to make it enemy. कुछ लोगों को डर है कहीं हमारा दुश्मन न बन जाए, कुछ लोगों के भय है कि अगर दोस्त बन भी गया तो क्या कर लेंगे, क्या उखाड़ लेंगे. Time has come to reinterpret bureaucracy, use AI as a tool of public policy design. In fact, OECD countries are trying that all rules are converted into a code. Acts are being used as a code, rule as a code. So when you are making a law, how many law it is going to affect? So that algorithmic effect, if then what, can be considered as a lawmaking. If lawmaking is made AI compliant, rules following that can become AI compliant. Public policy following that can become AI compliant. And then budgeting, expenditure, UC and all those things, all that nonsense that bureaucracy does. And we keep engaged ourselves in making hisab of all the things. We rarely have time to deliver development. Today AI makes it possible that we can provide 1 billion teachers to the whole world. We can provide 1 billion Anganwadi worker to the whole world. And we can make the world a better place to live with. Maybe we can make a Viksit Bharat also in only next 25 days. We need sabka saath, all of you are here. So very intelligent mind is sitting in front of me. Since I am aiming in political science, very little science, I will not like to waste your time. Wish you good luck.
Thank you, SNT sir, for the keynote speech and setting the context. In last couple of years, we have done many experiments, pilots, prototypes in the government ecosystem. It's in time for a scale now. And without building the competency of a government civil servant, we can't do a scale. So there's a sense of urgency now to build a AI competency framework for our government officials. I think we have seen top nations like USA, Singapore, Japan, Finland. The way they teach or build capacity of their civil servant for AI, I think it's example for all of us. I think USA has a program to train their government officials, especially on the AI side. Finland also has. So we have, I think, global study also available. In India, in last 12 months under Mission Karmayogi, we are building the world's most comprehensive capacity building platform, which is competency-led. We have on board 4 million civil servants now on the platform. We've done 9 million courses on the platform now. And the courses on AI is the most popular course on the platform now, thanks to our partner like Vadvani Foundations. And also, under Mission Karmayogi, we have built Karmayogi competency model. I think it's an indigenous model we have. So we have now sub-themes available also on this. And there's a study done by UNESCO as a good example available. So idea would be, how do we build that AI framework as early as possible with the help of our ecosystem partner? So to start with, we have a STEAM panel here, and they all have work in their respective domains. So I'll request each panelist to spend 5 minutes on their own role, what they're doing in the respective domain, and talk about one of those. So can I request Ms. Rivas? Yeah. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm representing the state of Karnataka and the AI initiative. So, Karnataka being one of the leading state in the, digital initiatives, we have started, we decided we need an AI system, or we need to come up with AI, a project, so that we can support all the departments. Ultimately, we need to enhance the service delivery for the citizens. In that way, recently we have started an AI cell with 3 pillars, 3 important pillars we have identified for the state. One is on the advisory part, because any government department, if they have to implement AI-based solutions, and they have to consult this advisory, because government should not duplicate the efforts. And also, we want to build a responsible AI system, which is ethical, trust, safe, kind of, without breaching trust and privacy aspects. Second pillar is we have solution development. So to avoid vendor locking kind of things, we want to strengthen our in-house team, and we are also working on the solution development aspects. And the third one is about, upskilling, because as a state, I'm sure this is applicable to other states also. Lack of expertise and skill is a major concern in the emerging technologies. So in that way, we have come up with three capsule kind of thing. One is basic AI literacy, so that is AI literacy for all. And the second one is for the intermediary kind of thing, where AI for decision makers. So to achieve that, we need top-down approach. So we want to, do that AI for policy makers or decision makers. And the third one is, of course, on strengthening the in-house developers. Or I know we cannot immediately start with, government officers cannot immediately start with the implementation, because that requires a lot of R&D efforts, things like that. So in that way, collaboration is the key. We believe in collaboration. So now we are open to work with private industries as well as academia. So in this way, Karnataka is working with started working on the AI mission in line with the India AI policy. So I think that's enough now, sir. I'll take the next questions. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
I prefer to sit here and then answer. Okay. So the question to us was that why did we get into scaling of bureaucracy, and that also in the field of new and emerging technologies. I must give full credit to the government. Around 4 years back, in a meeting which our chairman of our trust had with senior leadership in the government, he was asked whether our foundation, which is working in the area of skilling and entrepreneurship for last 21 years in 15 countries, can also do this. And it was agreed. And that's how we started this Vadvani Center for Government Digital Transformation, to skill bureaucrats, mid-level and senior level, on new and emerging technologies, with basic intent was to give them business level understanding of what these technologies are, with lots of use cases from the government on how these can do the following. The ask from the government was, one, they should be trained to use lots of data which is being generated by various applications, measure the impact of policies and programs. So that was the first. Meaning, not the output, outcome. Is it leading to reduction of XYZ indicator or increase of ABC indicator? So that was the first one. Second, new policies to be drafted should be evidence-based, which my friend Mr. Tripathi talked about, because now that's possible. And the third one was, how do we improve service delivery in the sense that it transforms the way completely how businesses and the citizen interact with the government. Give simple example, the way when the bank automation started, it was done at the branch level first. But still we had to go to a bank, issue a check if it was from one bank to another. Then they did core banking, where one bank you could do your transactions from any branch. And today you have online, you can get a bank account, you get loan based just on your demographic data and your CIBIL score. Now that's the huge transformation which has happened. Can we think of doing some similar kind of things, how people get services from the government? So that's the basic intent. So we started with the basic courses, and all our courses initially were in classroom style, where we were conducting it only for the senior leadership and the mid leadership. Started with central government and then we went to the state government. But there was a difference from other training programs. This is not just for the sake of training. There is a very clear agenda that they should go back with clear idea how to identify area where these technologies can be applied, number one. And number two, our KPI is on number of projects started by them. So it's not how many people we have trained, how many projects they have started, and I'm happy to share that, of course, we have started in a very small manner last year. 16 projects at Government of India level were started by those who got trained. This year, again, it was very interesting. Capacity Building Commission asked us to conduct similar training program for scientists of ISRO. When this proposal came to me, I was astounded. I said, what can we teach to ISRO scientists who are sending rockets to, these vehicles to moon? And we said, no, go ahead, talk to them. There is a need because there are people who specialize in certain areas, but they don't know the breadth of it. And again, we started with one. We conducted 4 training programs. And this year, they have started 14 projects using after our ideation session. We conducted ideation session, helped them, and they have started the projects. So just to inform you that this is not just for the training's sake, but it goes from training to ideation and project identification. We help them to develop the approach, in certain cases prototyping, but thereafter they do everything on their own. We also get lots of startups in our training program to showcase how they have solved the problem, because that interaction with the startup gives them an idea how the startup started it, looked at the problem, analyzed, and then actually they have implemented it. Then the Ministry of Personnel asked us, this way you are only reaching 3,000 to 4,000 officers. We have large number of people. So Mr. Rakesh, we work together, and today we have 8 courses all in the field of AI on IGOT, and I'm happy to inform that 370,000 officers have completed our courses out of 40 lakhs or 4 million government officials who are registered there. So that's a huge uptake. I can only say that there people want to learn new technologies. And there again, on the advice of IGOT and Capacity Building Commission, we are now making specific courses. Initially started with introduction to emerging technologies, then we went for data-driven decision making, blockchain, and now what we have started, AI for digital transformation, health sector, education sector, like that. So that's basically, they said that do it for specific sectors so that people from that sector with examples can learn. So that has been the journey so far, but the aim is to help government officials understand technology and start implementing it. Of course, they do it through their own agencies, whether it's NIC or CDAC, or they select someone. But our job is to help them to convert their idea into a project by giving them basic skills and also do some hand-holding.
Thank you, sir. Can you move to Kirti now?
Namaste, everyone. Thank you, sir. I think your opening was amazing, absolutely brilliant. Woke everybody up, which is a good thing. So I'm from NASSCOM. I lead the Sector Skills Council for IT. So I think the question that Rakesh asked was like, what mission are you on? I think we're on a mission to make India the global hub for digital talent. So that's how we name it. And we can't do anything. While I represent the IT industry, we can't do anything without the government and the people in the government. And we can't do anything without the rest of industry as well, because today IT is everywhere. So the basic thing, I think the core of which what the Sector Skills Council does is it sets standards. It defines standards. So when we talk of competency and competency framework, the job of the IT Sector Skills Council is to say, what is this competency? How do you describe this competency? How do you measure this competency? And at what level is this person displaying the competency? So if I'm a cloud architect, for instance, what are the different things that I need to have as a cloud architect? And this definition is really important. It sounds like a really boring thing to do. And frankly, in my organization, when I joined, everybody thought this was the worst job in the world of defining competencies. It was so boring and bureaucratic. But when you actually understand what a competency is and what a definition can do, you realize this world of possibility. So the first thing that a definition does is, you know what you're getting. So if you say you're a cloud architect at level 4.5, then you have a piece of paper that says this is what this person knows, and there is a certification that measures and affirms that this person actually knows this. If you're a cloud architect at level 7, then there are certain different competencies, or competencies at different level that you need to display. So this has become really important and really interesting, because now with the national education policy and the national credit framework, which if none of you have heard of it, please do read up about it. I think it's the most fabulous piece of policy that has come out of India in a long time, the national education policy. It's opening up our world. I mean, we keep complaining that our graduates are not employable and they don't know how to do stuff. Now the NEP allows the flexibility to embed skill development courses inside curriculum and inside colleges, so we'll get a better quality of person out from our education system. So it's that fundamental. It's not just for the education system, it's also for continuing education. So even if you're working, you've done your bachelor's, you can keep learning, add those credits to your bank of credits, and I see Abhishek has just walked in to the academic bank of credits, and you can go from your bachelor's to your master's, and you can keep accumulating your credits there. Now, where does this come into the public sector? And I was in a meeting with Rakesh just yesterday, and they were talking about this Karmyogi framework, and I said, look, just use what the Sector Skills Council has created. It is the National Skills Qualification Framework, and as a country, we should all be subscribing to the same set of qualifications and definitions, because what this means is that if I know this is my definition, my college system can educate to that level, my training system can train to that, my internal programs can subscribe to that, my progression can be determined to say I'm going from level 4 to 5 to 6. So it's very clear. Now, if we have to talk about promotions, and we have to talk about development, and we have to talk about competency build-up, you know exactly what you need to train the person on. So this was my big aha moment in my job, to understand why this skills qualification framework is such a great thing and really not boring at all. It came up in the G20. It was one of the things that we signed up for in the Delhi Declaration, which was that the framework that we build will enable comparison of skills across countries, which means that when I'm talking about a AI a DevOps engineer in India versus a DevOps engineer in the US, my definitions will allow me to compare. So you don't have to train the person all over again. You can just do a gap fill to say what is really missing. So that's a core part of what we do. Of course, we also have the Future Skills Prime platform, which is funded by METI and implemented by NASSCOM. That, just like Karmyogi Bharat has this massive mission, we also have a mission of training 1 million people in the emerging technologies over the next 3 years. We are currently at about, I think, and I have to compete, I mean, since Prakash ji has just said his numbers, and I can't be left behind. So we have almost 2 million people on the platform as well. We have 700,000 people enrolled in programs, and we have 110,000 people enrolled in just AI programs. Now and the beauty is that it's not just, and you know, I loved what you said, that for government people, it's so much about use cases and application as to how this technology can be learnt. So we created this concept of digital fluency, and that is what I believe, that, you know, leaders and, you know, people, like the government doesn't have specialization. You have a IAS cadre that can keep getting transferred across different domains. So by definition, they are generalists. They cannot get deep into too much, but they need to understand, and very quickly understand, because when they take charge, they have to understand what it is. So this digital fluency is 30-minute programs, ranging from 30 minutes to 7 hours to 30 hours, depends on how deep you want to go, just on use cases, applications, problems, challenges, linkages, which all technologies work together, how does edge computing work with IoT, work with blockchain, work with AI, because all of it comes together, nothing works in isolation. And while we are talking about AI, it's pretty much all the technologies. If you don't understand cloud or big data or IoT, then pretty much you can't do anything. So we start with digital fluency, which is bite-sized learning. We go to foundation programs, which is just conceptual knowledge of what is that technology, whether it's AI or blockchain or cybersecurity. And then we go to deep skilling. So the programs are aligned to as per the National Program for AI, we created a framework saying few, many, all. Very simple idea, but all means something everybody should know. So basics of cybersecurity, applications of AI, just basic digital literacy, everybody should know. Many goes to, okay, who's going to be actually applying this? Maybe using the tools that are available to build some applications or work on those applications. And few other people who actually work on deep skilling, create stuff, write programs, build algorithms, things like that. So we try to plug all our programs into one of the 3 levels. And it works really well because even with things like, we just did this work for Project Vishwakarma. This was a scheme for tradespeople, craftsmen, artisans. We say, what do they need to know about technology? But they do, because if the person knows what YouTube is and what Instagram is and what Amazon is, suddenly the world is their market. So the craftsperson sitting in Santhal in Jharkhand can now sell their baskets on the internet, voice-enabled interface. I mean, there's translation of YouTube videos on regional languages. So this just opens up this world of possibility. And as soon as you realize that everybody is enabled, imagine what happens to the policymakers who are thinking about what are the schemes that they should go for this last mile, if I can call it that, for our country. So that's what we do, I think, from this range of literally from the artisans to the artists who are creating our large language models.
Thank you. The last, Mr. Haskell.
Thank you very much, and it's good to be here. UNESCO started its work on AI with the development of the recommendation of on the ethics of artificial intelligence, and that was developed and launched in 2021 and adopted by UNESCO member states, all of them 193 member states. The recommendation focuses on the protection of human rights and dignity. And it also is based on the advancement of fundamental principles such as transparency and fairness, and always remembering the importance of human oversight on AI systems. The initiatives that followed the recommendations included the readiness assessment methodology, which is now being implemented in a number of countries, as well as the ethical impact assessment. Furthermore, UNESCO then started, if you like, smaller initiatives based on the recommendation, which included AI and the rule of law, which targets judicial actors. And then, of course, AI for the public service. We also have initiatives focusing on AI in education. And I'm sure these are not the only ones. Some more will come. Basically, all these initiatives have or are embedded in the legal and ethical concerns that are advocated and defined by the recommendation. And even the one for civil servants or for the public service, it has these legal and ethical concerns built into it, because that is the mandate that we have to ensure that we don't lose human rights as a result of this beautiful technology. I think I'll stop there and then I can elaborate later. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazi. Basically, I'll start with you on this. So we also need to build this AI competency framework for India. Can you walk us through the journey of your UNESCO, the way you consulted various stakeholders from different countries? It will be easy for us to, I think, frame our policies also. Yeah.
Thank you very much. UNESCO started when we recognized that with AI, a new set of skills need to be developed for the public sector. UNESCO actually established a working group, a global working group on AI competencies at the UN Broadband Commission. And it is this group that kind of led our initial work on developing the framework for the public sector. The idea was to consult widely and indeed globally with experts and also organizations representing civil society, academia, and so on. And one of the first things that we did after the establishment of the work group was to hold regional consultations, Asia, Africa, and so on. And this helped us, therefore, to capture the ground needs. And the work that we did there identified 3 broad categories of challenges. One, cultural and organizational barriers. I don't know if I need to elaborate what we mean there. Maybe I should. Just the work culture which is adverse to experimentation and innovation, along with low levels of leadership support to ensure innovative ideas, posing challenges to digital transformation initiatives in governments. And then the second one was data and infrastructure barriers. I think there we are aware of, here I'm not talking about one specific country, I'm talking globally, that there are countries and indeed regions that are lagging behind in investment in AI infrastructure and even internet infrastructure actually, especially where it concerns the delivery of government services. We also identified as the last category of challenges the human resource capacity gap, or the human resource capacity gap regarding AI and digital transformation. These are just the gaps that need to be met or addressed to improve competencies that are related to these areas. And basically, following this identification, the working group proposed that we work in basically 3 areas. That is, promote digital planning and design of AI systems. And there would be addressing competencies such as systems thinking, problem identification, solutions, and strategic foresight, as well as strategy development. The second one is data use and governance. And there would be considering, of course, literacy, which has been mentioned already, would be considering data-driven decision-making processes, open data, and open government, privacy and security for the systems that we are employing. And lastly, we also identified digital management and execution. Now, these training needs or the skills gaps, the group that was working, the working group proposed that they should be addressed by modular training or modular frameworks, meaning that the framework that UNESCO developed with these partners is like a menu. Not everybody has to do everything, and not everybody has to start where the other started. And therefore, together with this framework, we use contextualization to identify needs that are relevant to that particular country or even that particular institution. I don't know if I've answered the question, but that's what I would say.
Thank you. It's a very, very useful. Next question I'll ask SNT, sir. Sir, you work in states also. I think from a government perspective, the important competency would be how do you identify the use cases? Okay, because AI is like, I can use AI for anything now. What would be your guidance on this? Yeah.
See, my guidance would be the same what all the technocrats are thinking, that how we can make AI to solve the people's problem and not the solve the problem of technology. There is a difference between the two. If you buy Microsoft Office or PowerPoint, you don't become PowerPoint expert. You must learn how to use, ultimately, what is the content that you are communicating matters, not whether you're using PowerPoint or Google Sheet or any other thing. So I, as a layman, would think that technology, including AI, for me, A means area, I means individual. People are not poor, areas are poor. A person in Kalahandi with the same skill sets of AI will get 100 rupees an hour. Same person shifting to Mumbai will get 1,000 rupees. If he shifts to Mangalore or Bangalore, he might get 2,000. And if he goes to San Francisco, maybe he might get the same amount is converted into dollars. It increases by 83 times. So if we are solving the problem of society using AI, then we will be doing on the right path. Otherwise, we will be talking the virtues of blockchain, AI and others. We will not be able to reach and touch the life of people. So that is my first submission. Second submission is what Government of India is doing to build the capacity of bureaucrat. We are 30 million bureaucrats, senior bureaucrats, from lineman to chairman, if you call it. Everybody doesn't need training in AI, but those who need it, how to identify them? One tool is that you identify the roles that they play, activities that they do, what we call it framework of rule, activities, and then competency. So once we have done the detailed analysis of roles that I play, rules that I need to understand, and competency that I need as an individual, then a good, perfect training program or capacity building program can be thought of. As you are aware that India, at Government of India level, there are 59 services including IAS. So there are remaining 58 also whose capacity need to be built. There are only 4,400 IAS officers, there are 6,400 MPs and MLAs, but there are 4 million elected people's representatives. Out of them, 1.1 million are elected women. They are all part of government. We can't say that AI will be made known to the IIP and Badwani Foundation, I mean, incidentally, or any one of us, but not to the rest of India and rest of the world. It is they who matter. Second thing, and the network of training institutions that we have, Government of India alone have 1,100 central training institutions. IIP is just one of them. 1,100. If you take up state and defense and home, the training institutions still become more than 5,000. So 5,000 institutions to be made compliance of framework, and then they identify which technology, which competency need to be given training. Otherwise, one size fits all is not the right solution, and we have burnt our finger many times. And maybe I have retired, but I have not burned my fingers as yet. But I would like to. And let me tell about IIP, Indian Institute of Public Administration. Those institutions which give training at the base level or the foundation level, they have right to choose their profession. When we do at mid-career level, people are battle hardened. They have come with a certain prejudices and biases. Changing their mindset to use emerging technology and futuristic technology or become future ready, it becomes very difficult. So our job is that mid-career segment where we try to change their mindset, give them relevant skill set, and maybe try to give them some tool sets so they can become more relevant when they go back. They don't remain idiot when they enter into the institution. At least they go back, they are slightly wiser. So we are working on this theme, and this has worked as for us. Of course, I can't compete in number with Badwani. We have only trained 1.5 lakh people, but all of them are in senior public policy positions. We train brigadier, joint secretary and above. So they make public policy. If something is wrong, I can't be blamed. But if something right, I can certainly take credit for it. There are 21 professors who give them training. So we have all the technical knowledge. I always claim that very few people understand government the way IIP does. Earlier, IIP was headed by the Prime Minister of India. Today, it is headed by, upgraded to the Vice President of India level. Our chairman is our Honorable Minister DOPT. So we have that the assessment of what is relevant for the people of at least bureaucracy level. And I'm one of those who believe that everybody need not understand AI, but everybody must understand how to interpret data. Now, ignoring data is you are ignoring your risk and cost. When we are launching, let's say, PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, 13 crore, 130 million people have to be transferred 2,200 rupees in with one click. identification is the problem. Similarly, we are giving free 5 kg rice to every individual. 800 million people are getting 5 kg of rice per month without fail. It is the same bureaucracy is delivering without knowing even AI. My point is, I am not against AI per se, because this AI summit, and I can't call, it would be wrong on my part. But I do remain that even the sizing of technology that need to be told to the bureaucrat, their need for assessment, and perhaps capacity building commission might be doing that. And together we can do it, because for those AI and other tools are required, they must know it. But today, sir, we all have seen, nobody has trained us in using WhatsApp. I don't know anyone has gone to get training for how to use Facebook. Has anyone gone training for how to use Instagram? I don't think anybody here who has not used WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook together. We are providing data to the Western world. Why not we use our data to provide good for public policy? And it is there we should invest our time and resources, one. And second, sir, the global problem is rising income inequality, aging of population, climate crisis, and all these things. Can AI solve any one of them, or none of them, or all of them? Can AI be customized to look into the income poverty and asset poverty of the people? That is what is relevant for Global South, and that is where India can play a role in transferring our knowledge and wisdom, both at level which is available at the bureaucracy level, plus what it can be enhanced by technology. So there the role of Badwani Foundations and NASCOM and all those who are setting standards become very relevant. But first we need to have this prioritization, how much is good enough and how much is unnecessary. Because if everybody is given AI training and still then they don't solve any problem, my driver doesn't need AI certification. Maybe not that he is a citizen of India, doesn't need it, but I don't think that he should be trained and I should invest resources on him for learning AI. But yes, my joint secretary, my additional secretary, my FFA, and rest of India must learn it, there is no choice. And therefore, state, center, and all those things, we need a comprehensive competency building policy. We are working on it. We have already identified 67 competencies where every bureaucrat need to be trained for behavioral purpose. In fact, I can't framework, I mean, all of us are a little in the professor mindset now. So we do believe that technical skill everybody should have for the job what he or she is doing. Which if it includes AI, let them know it. If doesn't include AI, let them not be bothered about it. But behavioral skill, how to behave both horizontally and vertically, how to behave with the citizen, how to behave with illiterate, how to behave with the strangers who are unlike me. This need to be trained to the bureaucracy, because every handshake with the bureaucrat is not very pleasant. And I can certainly say, despite being a bureaucrat. So technical skill to all for the job that you do, with or without AI, behavioral skill to all which does not need AI, and conceptual skill to all the public policy maker who need all the best of the breed technology. And perhaps there may be 10,000, 15,000, or maybe 100,000 people who can be trained on these lines in an intensive manner so that they can become as good as Prakash is, or as good as Ms. Seth is there, or many other people who have enough say on these lines. Maybe I am wrong, but that's how I feel it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I move to Prakash sir now. Prakash sir, in last 1 year, I think with our iGot courses, your visit to multiple CTI, ATI, we train people on the basics of AI now. But as SNT sir spoke about, how we move from learning to a competency building, how we move from learning to an application now. So what's your views on this?
Okay, but let me just add to what question you had asked him, because that's also what we see. And as I had mentioned at the end of our 2 days training program, we request officers to come up with their problem areas. Now, many of them can be solved using simple IT solutions. So we need to tell them that, look, and many of them, they feel bad, oh, AI can't be used here. But there is a tendency that, okay, AI is the silver bullet. Any problem, we can do it. So in fact, we tell them that you don't need to force fit AI everywhere. You need to first, don't think about technology. Think about what your problem is, understand where the challenges are, what you intend to do, and then technology will give the answer. There are people who will give. You just need to understand how to dissect the problem and how to devise it. Now, coming to do that, and in our courses, what competencies, personally, if you ask me what are the top 2, 3, first is functional competency, I think is more important. in my view, then your behavioral or domain comes next, and behavioral is, I'll put it third. Now, in functional, AI is built on data. That's the primary thing. And that's what we tell our people about data. How do you collect data? How the data is generated? Is it coming from a transaction? Or someone is keying in a Excel and uploading it? Someone is keying in an app? Or someone is recording on a paper and then it is getting transcribed. All of them have different levels of accuracies. So we prefer that it should come from any transactional system, because then the chances of transcription errors and others get reduced. Second, what we have seen in many multiple use cases in government, there is a tendency to just fill the data at the field level. Now, unless until we have mechanism to ensure that we check whether data is within the specified range, how does it compare for last 2 or 3, and things of that sort. Just basically data sanity. So we don't use any, I don't use any technical jargons, but we say, okay, this is how you can do, this is how you can check the quality. Then comes completeness. Many times, suppose the data is coming weekly, you may have few gaps. Data is not uploaded. How do you handle that? Next, if you have outliers, first we need to make them understand what is meaning of outlier. And then how do you handle outlier conditions? So basically all these are, how do you clean data? Once you have done that, then comes what are the basic analytical skills you should have. Starting from simple graph, trend line, getting into correlation, understanding basic statistical things. So how do you use, and I'll give you some specific example. Suppose in a program or a scheme, the requirement of the policy is to reduce certain indices. It could be stunting, wasting, or to improve some other statistics. Now that's the goal of the scheme, that we are investing so much money into providing portion, that nutrition items to so many crore children. It should reduce stunting, it should reduce wasting, and this is measured on 12 monthly basis. Now what we see, it is measured how many children were given food. But we never measure, or we are not using that and putting in public domain, what has been the impact. What was the stunting 12 months ago? What is stunting today? Has it led to reduction of stunting? So that's what we teach. The next, okay, I have identified district A is working very well, but district Y, it is not. Now we need to look at why it is working in district A and why it is not working in district Y, because we need to help the district officers of district Y by identifying factors which are leading to better outcomes in district A and poor outcomes in district Y. For that you need secondary data, do some correlation, sit with subject matter experts. So this is basically data literacy part. And the second one, what we teach them is a technical proficiency, basic, about technologies, what is machine learning, what is computer vision, all based on application. So how to use computer vision, and we see variety of applications. And we start with like, large number of people have used DigiYatra. Now DigiYatra is basically computer vision and AI behind it. But then, what are the other applications? In Assam, they are using it for marking attendance, with huge impact on attendance in the classroom and attendance of the teachers. What is the other impact? Once the teachers are in the school from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there is a marked improvement in pass percentile and other things. So how do we use technology and how do we measure the impact? That's what. So these two competencies out of functional competencies, I think, and that's why we concentrate more on them. And of course, project management is there, because AI project management is quite different from normal IT project management. But then that's not required for everyone. As my friend SNT was saying, that my driver doesn't need to know AI, he needs to know how to use Google Maps. That's the case, like, so not everyone needs to know AI project management, but everyone needs to understand, especially mid-level, which is under secretary, deputy secretary, up to a director, and then senior level, which is joint secretaries and all. So we have different durations, different way of conducting the workshop for these groups, and these are the two major competencies which we think are required, and that's what we concentrate on.
Sure, sure. Kirti, I move on to you. Kirti, you've seen building government competency is very different from corporate sector. Okay, if you see in last a couple of days today, include today also, we talk about building AI infrastructure, computing, storage, network, and so on and so forth. But from a government perspective, building competency like how do I procure IT solutions? How do I pick a IT offering coming from market side also? So what do you feel building this AI competency framework would be very different from your framework, or it's going to be some part we can leverage from your framework also?
I think I'll pick up from what SNT sir said and what Prakash said, that he said, firstly, let's not make the AI, a solution looking for a problem. Let's figure out what is it that we're trying to solve. So, I mean, when we look at procurement of any solution in the government, there are some basic competencies around procurement that have to be followed, which are today also required and will be required tomorrow as well. The change that will come, in my view, the easy part will be an understanding of this new technology. That will be the easy part, because teaching someone about, say, why is it important to have whatever application, whatever IT solution you're procuring, whatever fundamentals of data it should have or data structures, we should be able to leverage the data in multiple applications. We should talk about, ask questions about bias and stuff like that. So that you can teach quite easily. But where I think we will really have to up our game is understanding of regulation. So when I look at the DP, the data protection. Yeah. So that bill actually is going to be is going to have such a lasting impact, because every line of your contract, every line of your deliverables of your vendors, every data point that you are capturing from the public, from the citizen, how is it going to be used? How are you going to take consent? How are you going to make sure that you protect it? What is the security of that data? How are you going to make sure that there are no attacks happening on that? So what is your cybersecurity guardrails around that? So again, cybersecurity will be horizontal. I think everybody will need to understand what are the basics of cybersecurity. Data privacy, basic, you'll have to understand. So understanding that law, the recommendations that Ezekiel talked about, because the whole ethical AI and responsible AI framework is something that today is a recommendation. Tomorrow it is going to flow into regulation. So regulation is going to be such a big part of the procurement exercise, which is actually not technical. You will need to understand the technology behind that law. So why is that, what is it talking about? And my favorite story is about a law student who 2 years ago I met, who had done a foundation course on AI. It was 70-hour course. 70 hours of AI for a law student. She said, I think all law is going to be about AI very soon. Because whether it's IP, whether it's privacy, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's data sharing, I mean, you name it, it's going to have a legal implication. So that, to me, is going to be probably the toughest one to know and how to apply. The data piece, I think that's fundamental, that you must be able to have data-driven decision making. So that, again, but easy to teach, in my view. The technical competencies for public sector, I don't think are different. They will still follow the few, many, all framework. There will be some people who need to know the technical, deep dive into it. There's some who, at the managerial middle level, they will not need to go deep dive. They will need to understand, the law, the legal implications, but that's where everybody will trip up. And I mean, we've seen enough examples of that lately, because people took a quick decision without really understanding the implications. So we have to guard against that. And the all will be the digital literacy and all, which is again not tough, but more tough is you can take a horse to water, can you make them drink? So you give them all the resources, will they learn? How will you ensure that? Don't ask me that question, give it to someone else.
Thanks, Kirti. I'll move to Dr. Srivyas. Dr. Srivyas, from a state perspective, I'm sure you're also working on some policies, framework for your own employees also. Can you throw some light on this?
Sure. So, Karnataka has come up with a data policy, so 2 years back now, but 2 years, a lot of things happened, like she mentioned about DPDP, things like that. So we are redefining that policy in line with DPDP Act, and whether it is state or with ministry, data exchange between departments is a real challenge. Getting data from other department in my own state, it's very tough. So even getting with the ministry is also equally difficult. So in that way, we are coming up with a data exchange framework, and how the data has to be exchanged. And AI, we all know that AI can do magic, but without data, I mean, it's like garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. So even though we have so many electronic databases in the state, but if you see the ground level, there are a lot of challenges. Data quality and data standardization, there is no unique parameter, so you cannot build such kind of things. So I can give you an example. We have a social registry called Kutumba, where about 6 crore citizens' data is available. We provide most of the beneficiary schemes on a voluntary basis or entitlement basis. Without even asking from the citizens, we can identify the beneficiaries and we are dispersing it. This registry was built based on the Food and Civil Supply database, FCS database. And when the data exchange happens, suddenly FCS department deleted around some 35 lakh ration cards, RCs. So, I mean, we have no clue what to do with that, whether the data, whether these people are dead, or is it they have changed from BPL to APL, or they have formed a new families. So it is like, for the department it's not a mandate, for them it is only giving the ration, but for us it's very important data, so they don't maintain history at all. So I can give you n number of examples with every department. So managing data is not so easy. So what we have done at the state level, we have identified around 170 chief data officers. So because they are our master trainers, we do some refresher sessions with them. See, we may talk so many things at the national state level, but trust me, when you go to an undersecretary or officers, they can't even identify what is personal data, what is non-personal data. Most of the personal data go through WhatsApp in government, so we have seen that. So we are working on that digital literacy part. Digital literacy is more important to AI literacy, I believe. So in that way, we are also working on an act, state-specific act, how the data has to be exchanged, how departments are mandated to share the data. We are also building on a data lake, because when one department secretary take report to chief secretary, other department report, that they're two different. It's not, because it is not seamlessly flowing from the data lake or from the databases. In that way, we keep conducting, educate on the data, importance of the data, data classification, how it has to be handled, things like that. And also, this act will talk about pseudo-anonymizing and consent kind of things. In addition to this, so what we do, as Tripathi sir mentioned it very clearly, it is not about the technology, it's about the data. Before solving any problem, first, we need to ask ourselves whether AI is really required to solve this particular problem. What are the alternatives? What are the consideration at the first place to consider AI? So what I think, as a civil servant, as a public servant employee, everybody should know, like CEO Nasca mentioned, that security is something, it's a non-negotiable component, horizontal across the thing. It's security by design, privacy by design kind of thing. Everybody should know what is AI, why AI should required, what AI can do and what AI cannot do. When we know that limitations as an employees, probably we can really, contribute to that service delivery enhancement part. And also, not only on the service delivery enhancement and also on the leakages part. For example, I can tell you, we have a project called crop survey. I mean, there we have photograph what type of crop is grown in that particular land, when it can be harvested. We have more than 5 years of data. You tell a survey number, I can tell you what crop is growing there, who is the farmer, what much is land is there, and when it can be harvested, what type of, all these things are there. This basically a surveyor will go to that particular land and take a photograph. We have geofenced it so that he has to go to that particular land and take the photograph. But still, the surveyor will, instead of taking the photograph of the land, he will take photograph of the photograph, I mean photo of the photograph, because the benefits will go based on the type of the crop it is grown. This is less than 1%, but when you see that number, when you have 240 or 250 lakh hectares of land, so even 1% is a big leakage. There actually we are trying, working through an AI solution now, so that AI model will detect whether it is an image or a photo of a photograph. So like this, we are working on a couple of things. So basically, to answer your question, we are working on the policy part of it, because building responsible AI is very important, we believe. In that way, we are strengthening our Kutumba Act and as well as on the revising on the data policy in line with the DPDP. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivas. So we have 15 more minutes. I'll take one more question with basically you. So based on your experience, if you need to prioritize the competency attainment journey, which two competencies you can prioritize with the government officials?
Yes, thank you very much. I've mentioned some competencies that the working group identified in the UNESCO processes. I think many more competencies have been identified by the panelists here. I don't want to repeat them, but let me just mention one set of competencies that have not been mentioned so far: attitudes. We all know that AI will give a lot of power to those who deploy the systems, those who develop and deploy the systems. And these do include public, the public sector, those who manage systems in the public sector. So attitudes by those who manage and those who operate these systems will also contribute to a broader or a wider uptake of the services offered by AI. Here we're talking about trust. The person deploying these systems, the person who captures or processes the data that is treated or processed within the system, will need to exude or portray trust. Trust to the public, trust to the person receiving the service. Yes, there will also be issues of creativity that public servants will have to develop, experimentation, curiosity, and adaptability. But for me, I think trust takes the first spot, because trust doesn't come unless we are all ethical. Those ethical standards, they transcend cultures, they transcend identities. Everybody understands ethics. If you're doing right to me and I'm doing right to you, you understand that I'm doing the right thing. So for me, if we uphold these kind of standards with AI systems in the AI environment, we will ensure that the majority of our people are empowered by AI.
Thank you very much. Now we open for the delegates Q&A. So please raise your hands. You can name the panelists and ask your question. Yeah. Someone pass on the mic, please.
Good afternoon. Thanks for all your brilliant remarks. So I have a question which actually goes a little beyond the competency framework. As government undertakes procurement of AI systems, how will you evolve those frameworks, and which will kind of help procurement of AI systems from the private sector. And the second question I have, I mean, something which was not spoken about was, let's say, I mean, building the capacity of National Informatics Center, to undertake AI projects, and if anything has been done on that.
Second question first. The competency of NIC must be developed. In fact, all the important programs that is running across India are being run by NIC, be it e-office, be it procurement, be it many more. So they must be upgraded to the AI level also, so that they set the highest standard. They no doubt we must propose it. But as far as buying the AI system, or for that matter buying any other system, there are procurement norms. But again, I will put the question in a different way. Love your problem, don't love your solution. If you have developed a solution which is made on blockchain or AI or ML or some machine learning, you try to sell that solution whether it is relevant for the problem or not. Two, the problem might have a very different and any different type of solution. So I always say that love your problem, because then if you love your problem, you will find out more than one solution. Which one works better in a country specific or situation specific, whether with AI or without AI, with this and with that, that could be the way out. And procurement, I think I will not give any advice except that you follow the GFR and all those things, unless you want to go to jail by buying anything.
So Anirban, if I understand your question correctly, is in case of AI model development, we don't know a priori which particular model will fit well. Now, if my attempt, if I have to make or develop 3 or 4 different models and then decide which is the best one, I may be lucky the first time, or may be unlucky and then I have to go up to 4. Now, this particular uncertainty is a big challenge, both for those who are procuring and those who are responding to the bid. And I'll tell you from my own personal experience, when we were doing it in for GST system, finally I had to, we wrote the RFP, and this discussion happened with prospective bidders, because we had not specified which, and we didn't know which one, whether it's a random forest or something else, which one will work there. And then finally we had to take people from the market, so we went other way around, where we took people and then made them work as per our requirements, so that they developed it in-house. So that was because we were doing it a little earlier. Today things might have improved. I don't have the current, but this is a challenge which, if it is big, it's always good to get people to do it under your own control, under your own environment. That's much better, rather than, because you cannot specify which particular way it will go. And that's whereas in other cases, you can give and they can do the t-shirt sizing, they can know effort, they will be doing very accurate effort estimation, and they will be able to bid. But here, that's a major difficulty which all of us feel. And in government, unlike private sector, you can't discuss it after bid is open. You can't negotiate. So that's a big challenge. I mean, I understand if that was your question. Would you like to add something?
I think procurement of AI solutions needs some innovative approach also. I think we have a guardrails. We are bound by the GFR norms. I think there would be a requirement to build capacity of our government officials also, the way they procure AI solutions. I think it's an evolving process. I'm sure MIT can look into this and it will work.
But just like GFR was developed, I'm sure a framework will be developed as well, because these are, I mean, there are so many, like you said, guardrails that have to be met. So I think it'll come, it has to come.
So I can just give you another example. Change request is something which is not very clearly mentioned. It was not earlier mentioned in GFR. Now, when we were faced with it, we didn't know, I mean, how to go about it. And then suddenly it occurred to me that PWD does change request left, right, and center. No, but they have a method. Let's not laugh. They have a method, because PWD code was developed more than 100 years ago, and it has so what they do, they break it into efforts for various activities, and for every activity, even lifting a brick and from the site which is dumped to the site where it is used, they have a rate. So then we realized, oh, can I break my requirement into so many identifiable pieces and then do some estimation, and then based on that, and then it worked. So we have to think about it, and we have Mr. Abhishek Singh sitting here, and I'm sure he will be, and many people must have come to him and said, look, do something. And as Kirti said, we have to develop that framework. How do we design so that it can be done? So what we did for change request, now many departments are following that. Whereas in private sector, they do t-shirt sizing. Now t-shirt sizing is quite different, where you negotiate, which is not the case in our case. So in our case, we say, okay, we'll break it for each activity, how many man days, and then you add it up, negotiate, and then there is have a committee, technical expert, they will say, okay, this is what it is. Because the vendor will say 200 man days, I will say 150, it will be somewhere in between. So that mechanism has to be there, and something of that sort needs to be done so that we are able to take care of this requirement.
Can I add one sentence? In fact, in procurement of each type of things, we don't know what we are procuring. When we prepare RFP, the solution provider says that I will solve all your problem. Once the L1 is selected, he becomes brother. Very soon he becomes brother-in-law. And then each one of you start chasing each other. Reason is we do not have, in fact, the risk allocation in the government is such that it belongs to the supplier all the time. Whereas we are selecting a partner in delivering a development or delivering a particular project. When you are a partner, all these issues get sorted out. When it becomes only contract to allocate risk and disproportionately in favor of the supplier, then all these problems happens. I think you have rightly said that PWD and CPWD, they revise their schedule of rate every year. They go by time and motion study. There is never, every bridge cost 3 or 4 times schedule is revised. Nobody has gone to jail. But here if you buy a small e-office application, if the original value is 3 crore, and if the gentleman comes there, sir, aapka sab theek hai, but I only need 27 crore more, I mean, both of you deserve to go to jail. I mean, does it require any other analysis? If you have underestimated and overpromised, then you better pay for it. So therefore, I will suggest that don't go for partnership, don't go for PPP. PPP is otherwise a bad word. I don't PO and PPP is like that. It is not public-private partnership. It should be partnership for public purpose. And that will make a lot of change. It does not require change in GFR. GFR is valid for buying Rafale to buying a Rafale pen. It has withstood the test of time. So only thing, how we imagine the problem and then we get the bits. We under-imagine and we try to get all the problems solved. Even, I mean, I always said, don't compare me with Almighty. Compare me with the alternatives. And same thing is true here also. Thank you.
So digital management of projects and execution of projects is the core competence we need to look into. So digital leadership, agile execution, iterations. So I think that's one competence the panel could always highlight, starting from digital leadership to digital management and execution of projects which are AI based. Thank you.
Taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Thank you. Sir, Prakash sir, the question is to you.
If you can identify.
Oh yeah,
yourself.
my name is Jacob George. I'm part of the AI team at Invest India under DPIIT. The question is fairly simple. The courses and the frameworks that are created, how do you sort of ensure that they're not lost in compliance, where people who are already burdened with courses and work don't just watch the videos, take a few tests, and they're lost in the time, and no real upskilling is done. So what are the key principles or factors you would account for to avoid such compliance?
I mean, you're asking one who has given 8 courses or who is managing 600 plus courses?
It's open to everyone actually.
Okay, so I think you should answer that and then I'll supplement.
So I think competency attainment is a journey on the platform. Course completion is only one part of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you can do courses on iGot, you can do courses on a Coursera also, but you can assess your competency on some other framework also. So I think it's not linked with the long or short courses. We have a different framework to attain the competency here.
Nicholas, there is a point also. If you are doing a surgery, you can find out what is the immediate result. But if you are doing immunization, it will give impact after some time. So digital learning or physical learning, they will give impact not immediately. We think that within 3 days of training of AI, even by the Lord Brahma Vishnu Mahesh, all the three give you training. You can't become expert on every aspect. So as you have rightly said, life is a journey, learning is a journey. So we are better off than what we were earlier, and that's how the competency framework will work. Thank you.
So thank you very much to all the panelists and our delegates. Yeah, dot on time. So I think this is the journey, this is a starting point only. We look for your feedback to define our AI competency framework. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And as we draw this enlightening session to a close, I would like to take a moment to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished panelists for sharing their valuable insight and expertise. Given that MEETI has huge stakes in AI and AI competency, we are really hoping that our collaboration and partnership today will also extend beyond this panel discussion. I would now like to request Sri Abhishek Singh, Additional Secretary MEETI, to kindly join me in warmly felicitating our esteemed panelists. Shri Surendranath Tripathi. Shri Prakash Kumar. Ms. Kirti Seth. Mr. Rakesh Verma. Mr. Hezekiel Delamini. And Dr. Srivyas. Thank you. Special thanks to our attendees for their active participation and engagement. Your presence and inputs are invaluable as we move forward to our collective journey towards harnessing the power of AI in public services. Thank you so much. We'll take another group photo. So please kindly join.